Do people really treat you differently after weight loss? This seems to be the question on everyone's mind. Hello, my beautiful BariTale family, and welcome back to our channel where we discuss all things weight loss surgery, the myths, the stigmas, the pros and the cons, as well as a little bit of Disney and mama magic. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome for the first time. Sorry if you can hear my tummy rumbling. Today we've got a juicy topic. We're going to talk about what actually changes when you experience a weight loss transformation through my lived experience, but also my clients and my students with permission to share their stories. Grab your favorite protein snack, snuggle on in, and let's get into it. As a VSG patient myself 5.5 years ago, as well as a bariatric support coach, I feel like through my clients' experiences, my students' experiences, and my own, I have a well-rounded library of knowledge when it comes to how society treats you before and after a weight loss transformation. Now, I am going to be speaking specifically to weight loss surgery because that is where all of these experiences are coming from. First off, I feel like we have to address some uncomfortable elephants in the room. One of them being that society is generally fat phobic. Perhaps that is contained to America or certain parts of America, but from my experience, society has a real issue with fat phobia. Whether it's the unsolicited comments about what's good for your health or the way you should or should not be eating, backhanded compliments, we'll get to some examples of these in a moment, or even the way that strangers treat us, weight often influences how we're perceived. Some examples and evidence of this. One of my beautiful and wonderful Glow Getter members was taking a walk on the beach one morning, doing something amazing for herself, both physically and mentally, and she passed an older man who was jogging and running, and he told her, "Oh, you should pick up the pace. You should be running too. You should be running with me." Sir, perhaps he meant that to be that he would love a buddy to run with. But as someone who's in a formerly obese body, she interpreted that as, well, I'm taking this walk and my body is still losing weight, and he thinks I should be running instead of walking. Like, this just unwelcomed, unsolicited comment from a stranger sent her into an emotional tizzy because he made a comment about her actions or her lack of actions, therefore her body. Have you ever been told, "Oh, you should eat something else" by a stranger? I have. Like, the audacity of that. I know that I'm not the only one who in a bigger body was told, "Oh, your face is so pretty," or "You could be so pretty." To highlight someone's face to suggest that their body is otherwise, or to suggest that they are not attractive based on the size of their body. What are we doing here? And my pretty woman moment is, I remember going into like a fancy boutique store when I wasn't home, I was on vacation, and being completely ignored by the sales staff. Now, I'm not someone who needs assistance or wants help or wants someone to follow me around when I'm shopping, but I just wanted to go in because I love and always have loved the aesthetic of really beautiful shops. And going into boutique stores and being ignored because they don't carry your size when you know that they've seen you, right? You're just ignored by society. Whereas after I lost the weight, when I went into a boutique store in the South, I was doted upon. They came to my dressing room. They brought me extra outfits to try on because I had access to pull things off a rack. It's these stark contrasts that perhaps in the bigger body you're not realizing or paying attention to until the opposite thing happens to you in society and you think, "Oh geez, everyone's so nice." This isn't just my experience, and I don't hope that this resonates with you, but if you are someone who's ever been in a bigger body or you've gone through a weight loss transformation, my guarantee is that I'm not alone. It could be something like receiving more compliments. Now, as someone who was formerly in the roughly size 20s, when I would walk into spaces, I always scanned, right? I would scan the room to see who is in a bigger body than mine, or am I like at the top of the weight scale? Am I the fattest person here? Because that made me really uncomfortable. But in addition to that, I felt invisible, and that kept me a little bit more safe, at least in my own mental headspace. But when I would walk into a space, no one ever approached me to say, I really like your shoes, or, oh, your eyeshadow is so pretty. That didn't happen in public as an interaction. And now I'm not trying to say that I get complimented every day, but typically now I'm more approached about something I'm wearing, my daughter, whatever it may be. It's never like a huge thing, but it's the same way that I treat other people. I'm also more apt to give compliments in this body because I'm not embarrassed when someone looks at me. This can also extend to work. One of my most recent clients shared that she simply didn't get a promotion and was told this because she didn't look the part. She had to lose the weight to look the part. Now she's more respected. She's in a position of management. These shifts can be so empowering, but it's also really disheartening to know what was limited to you in an obese body. And I will say, as someone who puts their life and their body out on social media, I see this fat phobia in my comment section. It's never here on YouTube. It is very rarely here on YouTube. I feel like YouTube is my safe community. But on TikTok, where I feel like I'm not known, like my audience isn't my audience like it is here, or even on Instagram, the comments from people when I post reels, or really their TikToks to start with, in a bathing suit or my before and afters, the comments can be absolutely brutal because after weight loss surgery, there's a perception that I should look a certain way, that I should officially be skinny despite having so much loose skin, or that I should look, I don't know, like a way that society expects. It's like people are mad that I was ever fat and then I tried to make it better or tried to make myself healthier, but didn't succeed according to their terms, which only then makes people not want to put themselves out there. It makes my heart so happy to see more weight loss surgery content creators coming into these spaces to normalize what before and after bodies look like. So I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna keep posting what I'm posting because I'm hoping that my story resonates and allows someone else to open up, and we just create this ripple effect of like unity and community and kindness and compassion, and to help support each other through what is definitely not an easy journey. And the big shift about kindness, about how strangers, how potentially colleagues, coworkers, even family members can be kinder to you after losing a lot of weight. These interactions have absolutely improved, which is great, except it makes me a little sad to think, why wasn't this here before? I think it's because that deep down, there are social biases against being overweight. And it's the more that I learn about myself and the more that I foundationally believe that my value, our value, is not based on a number on a scale, and how crazy and silly it seems that our ability to work well, be great parents, be amazing friends, have wonderful life experiences could be so wrapped up in such an irrelevant data point. Makes me sad about the way that I used to live, and that I agreed with those social biases, like they mirrored back how I felt about myself. The reality is that weight loss can and likely will change your relationships. Some friendships family ships will evolve and they're going to grow so much stronger while others fade because there's a dynamic shift. This is especially true and highlighted in social settings. You, after surgery, are likely going to garner more attention. And that could be because you are putting out more joy, confidence, and light into the world. Now, when that attention is on you, if a former friend or someone you perceived as your friend becomes insecure or jealous that attention is no longer on them, they were never your friend to begin with, right? They were always like kind of rooting for your failure or your downfall, or that you just stayed the same, that you were going to be the fat friend. You checked that box. Your changes are empowering to you to recognize that, but they are disempowering to others who feel insecure or jealous or upset that you now are on their level. So it just highlights how superficial some connections can be. And let's be real, sometimes your weight loss brings out the absolute worst in others. My transformation sometimes made people feel defensive or distant. And this is tough, right? You are going through your own journey. So to add a layer on of someone else's needs, emotions, insecurities, etc. is tough. But these are the cords that you must cut. These are the hard conversations that you must have in order for you to grow. Do you really want people in your life who are not fully supportive of the best version of you as you see her? No. What I've learned is that social validation feels amazing because I sought it for so long in my other body. I told a story recently on Instagram that ruffled some feathers, but I wanted to share it with you here. I had the experience 2 weeks ago of walking into a convenience store to grab a water or a protein shake, something inane. And as I was walking in, a man was passing me. I want to say an older man, but honestly, as I am approaching 40, he probably was just a little bit older than I was. And he made strange eye contact with me. Not, I recognize you as another person, eye contact, strange eye contact. And so I was so uncomfortable that after I passed him, I turned my head to kind of look back to make sure he didn't turn around. And he was still looking at me. Now, this isn't a brag. This is not a brag. And I kind of grimaced. I made a face. And he said, I was going to tell you that you're pretty. And I was instantly enraged. As if I needed his approval about what I look like. I simply walked into the store. Now, in that same 5-minute span, one of the employees there told me that she liked my earrings or that my makeup looked good. She complimented me in some way, and I was lit from within. For me, receiving a compliment as a girl's girl by another woman lights me up inside because I feel like we are vibing on the same level. I love giving other women compliments, regardless of their body size. I love to compliment. And I told my daughter once when she was little, if you like something about someone else, you should tell them always. So if she and I are together and we see someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, her hair is so shiny and beautiful, or I really like her shoes, my daughter is always like, you can't keep a compliment to yourself. And I am forced then to model that behavior. But hearing a compliment come from a man triggered me. And I think that's because in my other body, if a man complimented me, I felt like I had done something right. That I was meeting a certain level of attractiveness as perceived by society. And a huge shift for me is that now I don't care. It was the fact that instant gratification made me feel so good. That social acceptance part made me feel like I belonged to a world that some of the time, most of the time, didn't really want me. So now my social validation comes from other women. And do I need it? No. Is it nice when it happens? Absolutely. Because it feels validating to me that we get each other. It's still frustrating that so much of our value is tied to our appearance when that has absolutely nothing to do with who we are as a person. My internal growth and my improved mental health were just as important, if not more important, than my changes in my physical appearance. So here's the takeaway. Your worth is not determined by your weight, no matter how conditioned you've been to believe that. The right people are going to love and support you through this entire process. And they love you, my friend, for who you are, not what you look like. If they don't, they're just not the right people. Shall we lighten things up a little bit? One of my clients shared with me in one of our sessions that she gets compliments at work on her makeup all the time now. And she was like, Chels, here's the gag. It's the same makeup. It's the same products, the same routine, but because like her face looks different and she puts herself together really well because she takes care of herself, it comes across differently, even though it's the exact same products, the exact same routine. I've noticed this too. It seems like people are pointing things out that have existed, always existed. It's funny how weight loss seems to make everything else more noticeable. But this can also be scary if you are used to being invisible in the crowd like I was. We're about to have a guest. My most loyal subscribers will know what's different on the back wall behind us. Do you know?
Yeah. Too stuffy.
Yeah, this little guy, my Christmas mini. There is comfort in being unseen and letting the world happen around you rather to you. Once the weight starts to come off, it's kind of like your invisibility cloak has been pulled away quickly and there's nowhere for you to hide. You have to build your mental stamina for this. Weight loss brings so many changes. Some are welcome and amazing, some are challenging, and some are just plain strange. Whether it's evolving friendships, more compliments, or the way that you carry yourself, remember this, my love. Your transformation is about you and only you. It's about living your best life, feeling confident, and showing up as the authentic you who was in there all along. And speaking of showing up as your very best self, I built a 1-hour live workshop so that you can do just that for 2025. Glow Up Goals, your dream life adventure, isn't just about setting resolutions. It's not about resolutions at all. This is about building out the life of your dreams and setting intentions for yourself in a fun and supportive way. It's about creating a vision for the year that feels both empowering and authentic. I've never done anything like this before. I've had one-on-one coaching, small group coaching, live coaching, and coursework, but I've never held a live workshop. I've beta tested this twice. It went well both times. I would love to have you join me, and it's not too late in the year. January tends to be a slow start, as it should be, so now it's time to set those intentions, to work together to create a vision that you're excited by for the rest of 2025. If you are ready to make some moves with confidence and purpose, I will leave the link in the description box. I really hope to see you live on screen in person so that we can do this work together. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Will you tell me in the comments if you have perceived expectations, behavior, comments from society differently throughout a weight loss journey. I love reading your stories and being able to respond to you. I try to respond to every single comment that I receive throughout the week. So let me know and we can talk to each other. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, would you consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, doing all the things to let other people know that this is a channel to be on if we're talking real talk about weight loss surgery. I hope your start to February has been amazing and full of love from others, but mostly from yourself. And if there's a topic about weight loss surgery, taboo or not, that you would like me to address, tell me in the comments. I take a lot of comments and turn them into videos just like this. This video was a comment request. I love you, my February friends, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Goodbye, my friend.